Hi there, everyone. Welcome to the Atlanta SEO for Local Businesses Meetup. Our meetup is the second Wednesday of the month at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and Andy Simpson is here. He is my co-organizer. I am Trisha Clements. Today, Andy's going to be looking at a local website, and this is part 2 from April, where he started working with Greg's Google Business Profile, and now he's going to be finishing up going over the business's website. So I'll let Andy take it away, and make sure you put any questions in the chat. We'll make sure that we get to those questions in the chat as well. Thank you.
Okay, no, that's a good, actually, I will start by, thank you, Patricia. I will start by putting in the chat Greg's website. There you go. So this is the site we're going to be looking at again today, part 2. We did a lot, like Tricia just said, I spent a lot of time looking at the Google Business Profile, but now we're going to try and focus more on the website. So we're particularly looking at Greg's site, who's a real estate photographer in the Atlanta area. This is his website, and this is my feedback on not just the design, but also the content and from an SEO perspective. So literally, I was just saying before, I'll get this out of the way to people that are just joining us. I had a 30-minute power cut just before this talk started. So I've got all my notes ready, but the words I'm actually going to say, I haven't said them yet. So I'm doing this a little bit on the fly. So I'm going to go through my list of things to Greg about my suggestions for the site, etc. But bear with me if I do a lot of erring and umming and making things up as I go along, like I am right now.
Yes, that is okay. We had Andy had a power outage for a little while, so we're just thrilled that you're here, Andy, and giving us all your expertise.
I've got a bit of a cough. I'm not going to take the sympathy vote, but I just last week or about a week and a half, I had COVID for the first 2.5 years, been COVID free, and I'm just recovering from COVID. I'm all clear now, so that's the good news. But it's left me with a bit of a chesty cough thing. So, but that's all good. Got that one out of the way, thankfully, and whatever. So, Greg, thank you again for letting us look at your website. Let me share my screen, which is the classic of that one. Share. There we are, moving to the side. So I'm guessing you can all see that. Give me the thumbs up if you can. Now, also, can you see when I do things like this? Can you see that I've slid something onto the screen there? By all means, Trisha, can you? I've actually slid something on the. Let me
do that. Where was it? I was typing in the chat.
I'm actually sliding something on over the screen. No,
I don't see that.
All right. Yeah. No, I'm going to stop sharing.
Okay.
And then try sharing screen 2, which should be my screen and not my browser. Let me try that again. Share. No. So when I do this, you're not seeing anything.
No, wait a minute. I can see. Okay. Yes. I can see that. Greg, you can see that?
Yes, it's something about homepage, company name.
Okay, so they're those are my notepad. They're my notes.
Yes, we can see notepad.
And can you see this? I bet it closed. I bet. Can you see that?
I can see where you clicked it, but I'm not seeing Screaming Frog open.
That's okay. Oh, I'll tell you what. No, can you? Apologies for this. We'll just get these technical. Can you see that on my screen?
No.
Yes. Oh yeah, Streaming Frog.
Wait, it just
okay.
Up.
There must be a slight delay, so you can see those 2 windows, for example.
Yes.
That's great. Right. That's good. That's good. So I'll leave Screaming Frog there. Right, Greg. So the first thing we did last week, when we last spoke, Greg, we looked at your GMB listing, and the biggest. Not GMB. So GMB, for those that have forgotten, Google My Business has been rebranded to Google Business Profile. For 6 years, I've been saying GMB. So when I say GMB, I mean Google Business Profile. I'll occasionally, most times, get it wrong. So bear with me on that. So we were looking at your GBP, your business listing, which I do have here. So we were mainly looking at this last time. So Greg, can you just quickly share with us? Oh, sorry. And the biggest update we did to Greg's listing. Now, this is quite important. Greg was showing his address, which being a service area business, he shouldn't have been. So we turned his listing to a service area business listing where Greg only shows the area that he services, he covers in the Atlanta area. So that was the biggest update we did while we were looking at the listing, et cetera, et cetera. So Greg, since we did that, can you tell us how things have been going? Just, you know, we had that chat the other day, and if you could just summarize, you know, how things have been for you since we made this change.
Yeah, sure. The changes that have been made have, for me, I think they've been great. I have gotten a booking. Well, let's go this way. I've been getting more bookings through the site using the forms, which is something that I really love. It's just so nice to look at your email and see that someone has went through the site, went through the forms, and basically booked you. So I'm getting more of those. Then I've gotten some things that I've never gotten before. I've got a booking from Spain to cover a sporting event.
That was Spain, by the way, people, if you missed that.
Spain.
He got an international inquiry.
So
wow.
Captiva Sports, I have never gotten anything like that. But Captiva Sports went through the website, created the form, sent it in, did the booking. And get this, they have already paid for me to cover the camp in July. And I was just like, at first you're kind of thinking, is this real? You know how people, some people are out there just kind of doing things crazy. And I'm like, is this real? And so when they asked for my PayPal account and all of that, and I said it, I thought, nothing's going to happen. Boom, there's the money. I went, oh, this is real. But I've been getting, like I said, more people are finding the site, and then they're just kind of going to it and filling out the form and doing the booking on the site.
That for a business is 100% what we want them to do. And that, which is just fantastic news. And we haven't done anything. Greg's made a couple of little changes. And he actually apologized. Well, he didn't apologize, but he says, Andy, I've been too busy, which is a great thing. We did recommend a few things, and we're going to recommend some more things today. That's what this.
Well, Andy, a small correction that I said I've been busy and lazy.
Well, you're funny.
Well, yeah, that's okay. Now, I do want to make sure we point out that one of the changes that he made on the Google Business Profile is that Greg is a service area business, meaning that he doesn't have a physical location. So there's no real pin that should be on the map. When he came on in April, he actually had his address showing. And so he removed that. And you can see on desktop here where it's got the red kind of not exactly circle, but area around the Atlanta area that he services. So one of the things that a lot of people say is, well, I need the pin on the map, otherwise I won't get found. Well, you can see how much improvement he has had from people going to his website and contacting him now that he's got his home address off of there. And I'll mention I'll wait till the end to talk to, let's get into Greg's stuff, because I've got another Google Business Profile thing to talk about, mention at the end. It's really interesting how important it is. Okay.
Thank you both. So perfect. Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Tricia. Sorry about that. I clicked through then and you saw a load of green pins. That's nothing related to this. This is my personal Google Maps account. So when it clicks through, all these pins and me, I'm a big surprise. I'm a big Google Maps user.
Mine was
so all these pins are mine, but this is the area that we were saying that and more, obviously, that Greg covers, but this is the area that we put in his service area Atlanta area there.
Yeah.
So now,
Did-
sorry.
There's a question on Greg on your Google business profile. Did you set up the request a quote on there and people contacted you? Yes. So were you getting quotes directly from Google Business? How are you getting those quotes now?
They actually came through the website.
Mhm.
So on the website, when you get on there, there's like, you can book now. And they just click book now and fill out the form. With me, you're not paying in advance, you're just kind of booking a date. And so I've been getting more of that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Perfect. Right. Okay. Back to me.
Yeah, that's the form. That's it.
So we made the change to Greg's service area business, but before we did that, I ran something in local Falcon you can see there that on the 25th of April 22 to show. Now this was when Greg was still showing his listing for the McDowell address with his address on there, because that's where Greg's based. So he's based at this #1 position here centrally. That's where he is. And I did a search for real estate photographer, and these numbers, these pins on the map, show where Greg is in the local 3-pack, not organically, but in the 3-pack. So the 1, 2s, and 3s you can see means he's in that 3-pack, that map listing at the top of the local search results when someone looks for real estate photographer. The 6, 7, 8, 9, all the other numbers means he's lower down the list. When you click through to something like Local Finder or on Google Maps, he's at position 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we can see that position. So what I did today is run another listing to show how it was like, well, how much has changing to a service area business affected his ranking, not just in his local area, but across Atlanta. And we'll just see, it's not a massive change, but it's still a good change. So now, please don't let me down. Come on. Oof. Come on. No, you're not going to do it for me, are you? I'm going to have to go to reports. Just bear with me. That was all loaded up, but obviously with my browser going off when I'd lost power, excuses. Here it is. Let me just show you let me just move that out of the way. Let me show you the latest scan for real estate photographer. So let's just compare the two. What the good news is, because there's a risk of doing this, it's like we're changing from an address to a service area business. Is he going to lose rankings, which is exactly what we don't want to happen. So that's before. This is the end of April, and now we've switched to the service area business, and we can see that his spread has got a lot better. We're penetrating slightly more into the Atlanta area. So we can see some of those 4s are changing to, the higher numbers are changing to 7s and 4s. And so we can see that improve. And he's not lost. This is the important thing. He didn't lose his local ranking, his local presence when people were looking for him or a photographer in that area. Now, remember, this is only for the search query real estate photographer. It's not for real estate photographer near me. So there will be other queries where Greg will have gained and lost in different positions for different local queries. So this is just for one of the main queries where people are looking for a real estate photographer. So that's the good news. We've seen improvement. We've seen his spread locally in the 3-pack. But also, because he's made himself a service area business for the Atlanta area, it's possibly how the new client in Spain found him, because I think they literally searched, didn't they, Greg? They searched for, they actually were looking for a sports photographer, weren't they?
Yes. And in fact, I did ask her, how did she find me? And she said, sports photographer, Atlanta.
So now Greg's main practice area, I don't know, I'm doing this all the time. I'm very and visually, let me, his main category is, now interesting, I can't see it on there, is commercial photography. We set his main primary category as as commercial photographer. So that's possibly one reason how the person looking for a commercial photographer in the Atlanta area came across Greg's listing, which has led to this business lead, which probably wouldn't have happened if he'd have kept himself with the business address. Okay.
And recall, Andy, I'm sorry to jump in here. Remember, the one thing that we did, another thing that we did was, remember, my website did not have a lot of text on it. Yes. In terms of Atlanta. And then I went in and put on certain pages, like you see there, real estate photography, Atlanta, and then I did sports photography, Atlanta, and then, you know, each page I kind of put the Atlanta on it.
So we've made those, yeah, exactly. And that was from just some, this is what we're going to now, that's a nice lead there, Greg. So thank you very much.
Sure.
So we're now looking at the website in more detail, which brings me on to the homepage, my overview. This is where I'm now trying to think of, yes. So let me refresh the page. So when the user lands on the page, they're smacked immediately, which they weren't before, with real estate photographer. I'm just refreshing the page. Atlanta, fantastic. We're now telling users exactly what they do. And we've got a page of, we can navigate down. I'm sure you, if you're on the site yourself, you'll find all that. We're going to dive into now my recommendations. So we said before, the site is still lacking content, and it's the navigation and thing that needs, what have I actually said here? I actually termed it. We need some there you go. We need some on-site housekeeping of the pages we need to revamp, the pages we need to keep, and the pages we need to remove. For example, we've got, no, I'll come on to that. So let me just stick with the home page. I would recommend that Greg has in his, let's have a look at the navigation top right, that he has his services page, a services page in the navigation at the top. To see Greg's services at the moment, it's down here in the footer, our services, where you click, so he's got a services page, we click through there, where he's got a summary of the areas that he covers. But unfortunately, some of them don't click through. Oh no, they all do. There you go, that's my first. But when they do click through, some of them don't go through to the page that you would expect. Well, let me just click through on one and I'll explain more. So it's a lot of it is, again, it's down to the pages are lacking content and wording to help this rank better in the search engines. So let me go back there. What I would do,
so Andy, I'm sorry, Andy, are you saying instead of it going to that video, that's where I should have
a page of
explaining what that service is?
Exactly, 100%. Yes.
Would you say the video is good to keep, but just add text with it?
Yeah, 100%. It's exactly. I think certainly video. Well, you've got videos for most of these areas. It's one of those. What is it? Pictures paint 1,000 words, but a video is, you know, it just highlights even more what you can offer. So one thing is, I was going to suggest that you embed your videos more on certain pages.
Say that again. Add videos.
That you embed some of your, not better, but your favorite videos on particular pages. So if you've got a video that's related to the wedding photography or the property tours. So let me click on property tours. No, you've got a better, again, this is where I'm saying that we've got a lot of other pages. So if I go to the real estate one here, come on, don't let me down. There we go. So this, it would be great, introductory text and a real estate video, then leading into, and here's a collection of the work that I've done. And I said before, you're killing it because you're a photographer. So you're killing it with the images. It's just that there's no blur. No, this is what we do. There's no FAQs. There's no anything to support the page. And it's that text, it's that content that Google is reading and making sense of. It's like, oh, we don't know. Let's go for your drone photographer pay, the virtual, no. You know, virtual tour, but we're not saying we're a virtual tour. We take virtual tours in Atlanta. So we've got nothing telling the user, and this is how we do our virtual tours. So I'm just going through my notes. You can see. So I would, let's go back. I'd have the services with a drop-down menu, and hopefully, can you see that? Can you see what I've just, brilliant. So we'd have a services with a drop here, with a drop-down menu, linking through to, and most of these pages you've got on the site already, but they have nothing behind them. It's just, it's a lot of the pages, like your virtual tours, is this page. So if they chose the virtual tour option, you get the idea. They get taken through to this page, but they're not introduced by anything. They're not told anything. I'm sorry, I jumped ahead because of how this conversation went. We jumped into where we are now. I want to step back. One of the first things I do when I come to any new site is I run it through Screaming Frog. Now, Screaming Frog, you might have heard it's a tool to, in a nutshell, if you want to find errors and problems and things that are broken and broken links and more information about your website, it's a crawler that crawls your website and tells you what's wrong with your site. It shows you broken pages, pages that are redirecting, and errors. And these errors are what Google sees. So a page with a lot of on-page errors, it could be a factor where it's like, well, that page has got a lot of errors, and this page about Atlanta has got less errors. So let's rank that one higher than the one that's got more errors on it, because it's not a pleasant experience for the user. So there's a possibility that a page that has got broken links and redirects on it isn't in good condition, and it could affect how you rank. I'm not saying it's a ranking factor, but there's a possibility that it's not going to help you in the search results. So now Screaming Frog is free up to a certain website, have so many crawls. So most of people watching today can use the free version and won't have to pay for that. I think it's something like $100 a year. So let me just.
I put the link there in the chat for everyone who wants that. I use the Screaming Frog a lot, so that's a really good resource.
Brilliant. Now there it is. It's on my screen already. That's why I was panicking. I couldn't see it. Now I scanned Greg's site, and it came back with a whole load of. This is not a Screaming Frog lesson, so this is not a lesson on how to. But this status code, as I would say, shows me what the errors on the site. So a status code of 200 is the page is good. And it's showing me all the pages there on Greg's site. However, if I just resort this and say, okay, please show me the errors, and a 500 is a 500 status error is typically the site's finding, which will lead me on to another part of what I want to cover. It can't connect to the database of the WordPress site. So it finally spits back a 500 error because it said I can't connect to the website. It just didn't come back with anything. And then a 301 is a redirect. So Greg has got something like 60 something 301 redirects. The site is doing something weird and redirecting all these pages. So I was like, well, okay, so I can see these errors. Google will see all these errors. But if you look, it's an error, but it's the template, it's the theme that Greg is actually using that is producing these 301 errors. So it's the actual, it's like a problem with the actual website, the theme that Greg is using for his WordPress site that's causing these issues. So let me just show you an example. Hopefully I can show you an example. So if you look at the URLs there, if you highlight this one, it's this strange /JPEG -2. So this is telling me it's something about the images. So hopefully I can find, let me open this in my browser, and hopefully it will open it up in my browser of many tabs. I know, let me also find, see that page, doesn't it? Now this eventually would throw back that 500 error, because it's just like, hello, where's the website? Where's the website? Ugh, breaks. So I'm going to try and find, no, that's the back office. So Greg's, it's on. It's basically the gallery feature that sort of creates these errors. And it's just finding that page. It's one of those where you click on the image and you get a larger image. I think it might be on your, let's try the wedding.
Yeah, I think it was a wedding picture.
I'm going to go back to Screaming Frog. Sorry about this. Let me just go back to, I did find the pages. Oh, there we go. That's it. So if I go, so this is, okay, a quick explanation. This error here is coming from this page. So the real estate photography page. So I can say, open that from in my browser. So now I can hover, see how my pointer changes to a hand. I can hover over those images, and it's this, I'm going to show you now, that is causing the problem. It's when I click on that, Google is seeing that as like a separate page, and it's not, and that's what's, so all those, because it's seeing it as a link on that image. Everything. So that's why there are so many broken errors in Screaming Frog. Is it a bad thing? Probably. And I think I'm going to go offline and talk to Greg about this in more detail. So we need to address that.
Looks to be theme specific then. Different themes would have something different.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and maybe this is, we just switch this feature off, you know, we can't see the bigger image, or we select a certain amount of images where we can actually see the images in larger detail. So that, okay, let me get off Screaming Frog. Let me just finish it one more time.
Let's show, want to make sure people understand. So what you did was you, at the top where they're numbered, you clicked on 23, and then at the bottom, it showed where that was, where they found that link that was broken.
So yes, so it's showing me that error because it's a 301, which is a redirect. If it was a 404, page does not exist, that would be even worse. So it's a redirect. That is coming from down here. Look, what I chose, can you see that in links?
Yeah.
What is pointing to that error? What's the in link? From what part of this website? It's from, and it's pointing from, and it's pointing to. So I just said, open up that page, open the from in a browser.
And Screaming Frog can do so many awesome things. My biggest thing that I can tell you is to just take it easy and do a few things at a time. Try not to learn the whole thing at once, because it's a powerful tool.
It's a very powerful tool. It's yeah, it's a beast. We've just touched the edge of what we can use it for. So I did say in Screaming Frog that the site was, we got that 500 error where the site was trying to connect to the website and it just gave up eventually and went at 500. Thankfully, there were only 2 500 errors, but that's telling me there's possibly a problem with the site speed, which is, this is the other thing I do for new sites that I'm checking. I check the speed of the website because it's a user experience. People are coming to this on desktop. Excuse me. Many people, I'm pointing over there because that's where my router is. I've got now 1 meg, you know, fast download speed, so they don't really notice it on desktop. But on mobile, which is what Google uses for its, you know, search rankings, it's, you know, it looks at the world in a mobile world now. So site speed on a mobile device, how fast is this website for the mobile experience for a user? You can go to this page insights. There we go. I'll copy that. I'll whack that in the, I'll tell you what. No, I can do it. Chat. There's the link in the chat there. You put in your web address, your URL. So we're analyzing the site now. The page is just reloading. Now, unfortunately, I'll just jump ahead. It's not good news for the site. This site is very slow. It's a very slow site experience for users. So here's a drum roll. There we go. So it immediately gives you the result for the mobile site speed. And we can see there we're down in that we're in the red zone where we don't really want to be. We really want to be in the high 80s, top end of orange into the green. Green is fantastic, perfect. You've got a really nice, speedy website. But down in the red, now don't worry, Greg. I do have a quick fix suggestion, which I'll move on to in a second. And then on desktop, your speed is mid-50s, so it's sort of average low, but it's still in that, it's a slow website. And if you compare it, now speed is a ranking factor. So if you were competing against somebody locally and all other things were equal, the site speed was equal, everything else ranking with the title tags, and you got content and you're ranking well for Atlanta photography. But if they have a faster website than you, that might just put them above you in the search results if their site is faster. So it is something to consider, and something definitely, you know, this is a tool designed by Google. So they do know exactly how fast your website is or how slow it is. So at the moment, we're presenting Google with a very slow site experience, a slow user experience. So that is a little bit of a red mark against the domain name at the moment. So what do we do? Now, a lot of the time, site speed is to do with the size of the images that are uploaded onto a website. Now, being a photography website, this site is full of images. So there's a good possibility that the file size, Greg, that you've used is slow. You know, the user has to download all those images that you've got on the site. So everything we're looking at here, this visual effect, I think that these all blend into other photographs here. That's all slowing the site down. The video probably isn't, unless you've actually uploaded. I don't know if you're pulling that from a YouTube video or you've uploaded an MP4 video file. If you've done that, that will be slow. So if it's embedded on YouTube and you've brought it into the site, YouTube is hosting that video.
Yes.
Yeah, so perfect. You're using their bandwidth, you're using, so that file, that videos, but some video files, some examples like this, the user actually has to download the MP4 video file while they're on the website. But that's not an issue in this circumstance. Images, we've got all images here. So all will be slowing down that experience. Now, the quick fix, and it's I think it's WordPress specific now. I think Trisha might know where I'm going with this. There is a site, again, for small businesses, and Greg, you've said it yourself. I'm not going to say you're busy and you're lazy and it's time and effort. So you want to think, okay, Andy, I haven't got time to start going through all my images and optimizing them down for the web. So is there a fix? Yes, there's a fix. And we use, and I've used it in the past, Nitro. Is it nitro.ico? Nitro page speed. Oh, I should have had the link up, page speed. Hopefully that's going to, Nitro Pack, that's what we use. We use Nitro Pack, and Nitro Pack, very easy to install on, it's designed for WordPress and other platforms, I believe, as well. I think, let's just look at, because obviously there's a price to this. There's a free version.
So I have used this Nitro Pack's free version. I would be very careful. And I don't recommend it for small businesses. I recommend, the paid version is one thing, but the free version, they will put up their logo thing on your page, and you don't want that on your business site.
That's what I was that's the downside.
That's the effort that's free. So they, but I don't know how much the pricing is on that one. You can, I don't know if that you can get.
Let's have a look. We're there. We might as well do this.
I put another alternative in the chat, which is ShortPixel. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, $17.50 a month. But if you build it per year, I put one ShortPixel. I'm not sure how much that pricing is.
It basically
looks like ShortPixel, depending on, they've got smaller plans depending on how many images a month you're going to do. And I know that also has a plugin for anybody interested. And
I've heard, so this is the one we use. We get a business deal on it and blah, blah, blah. But heard good things about ShortPixel. So what they do, what these packages do, they take your images, they host them on their servers. They take your CSS, your styles of how the website's built, and they host all that on their faster servers. So when somebody lands on your website, the images aren't coming from your GoDaddy hosting package or whoever you're with. They're coming from these faster servers. So they make the experience faster. They take all the script away. They make the experience faster for the user. I've seen really, really good results using this. One reason that's why we use it. But again, ShortPixel, this is the quick and easy. You can go to your website and optimize your images and look at other things that might be slowing your site down. This just takes away the headache. Okay, so this one is a recommendation. ShortPixel is a recommendation. It's a quick way of changing that from 13 to perhaps 80, perhaps 90. You can do simple tests to see how quick it's going to make your site without signing up for anything. You can sort of do.
One tip that Melanie mentioned is look for one that serves up WebP images. So that's just a tip as well. I know ShortPixel does that because that's what I'm using on mine. So
WebP images is another. I'm just saying WebP images is another format of web images like JPEG and GIF.
Yes.
So it's just another format of, and not all, what Patricia was saying there, not all will host that that particular image format. Okay, so now is that it? Back to the site. I've done Screaming Frog. I've done the site speed. Let's get back to Greg's site. So we were looking at navigation. So I said about having the services drop-down menu. And then I'd actually, and now this is sort of a UX. Well, is it a UX? Because this is just personal. Back in the day, I've made and designed many, many websites. So I had a web company in the UK, blah, blah, blah. So this is just some design feedback. I would probably, and I don't know if some people agree with me in the chat, or I take the prices off the homepage and show the user what you do and how good you are, and let them choose to go to, because you've got exactly the same with a little bit more information on your pricing tab. So perhaps sell what you do, your services, from your homepage and your other services pages here that you have with the drop down that I've recommended, but then get them to decide to join and say, okay, this work looks fantastic, I want this guy, and then get them to choose from pricing. So take your pricing off the homepage. I've looked at some of your competition, and they've done the same. They don't have pricing on the homepage. Again, you don't want to put the user off when they first land and go, oh, flipping heck, it's too expensive, I'm going to go elsewhere. Okay, so that's one design recommendation. On the homepage, what else have I said about? So you've got your home, your services, your pricing tab, which you've got your About Us page. Greg, please add your About Us page. We've already heard what a great guy this is. We want to find out a little bit more about who is the photographer, who is Greg C. So have an About Us page. I think Greg was mentioning, for example, he does real estate photography. Greg, you've got that special license that allows you to go into properties the same as real estate agents, so that a real estate agent doesn't need to be there when you walk into the property.
Yeah, it's called Supra.
Get
in that green box.
And again, so that's not on the site, so that would be great. You know, he's aiming this at real estate. I'm going to say real estate attorneys, real estate agents. That's my background. If you hadn't known that.
Yeah. Definitely, I'd say that wording definitely needs to be on there, because a real estate agent looking for photographers are going to be looking for that specifically, that they don't have to take time out of their day to go, that you have that. And the About Us, definitely agree with Andy 100% on that.
Not only, so on the About Us page, but also on the real estate services page.
Services.
One of the first things you want to get out there is, hi, I'm Greg, and I do X, Y, and Z. Oh, and by the way, I'm qualified to, I've got this. Sorry, Greg. I've got this green.
Yeah, it's basically what it is. It gives me access to the property just like a realtor. I went to the Cab Realtors Association, applied for it. They do the background check, all that kind of good thing, and then you get an app on your phone, and it's called Supra. And so when you see all those little green boxes over the doorknob, all I have to do is, when they give me what's called their CBS code, and I just type that in on the app, and you start getting this beep, 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 and the box opens up and there's a key.
Even actually, something like that, something as important as that, it could be almost in your homepage copy that we're recommending that you add.
I think there as well. Yeah,
so,
especially if you're focusing really a lot on real estate photography, that's a selling point that you want to emphasize.
So About Us, and then again, you've got your other services, fine, and then Contact Us page. Now, the thing with your Contact Us page, and this, sorry, it's a personal thing about design. I would recommend, so let's go to the Contact Us page. It's got your contact details on. It's got your name, great. There's your phone number and email address, fantastic. But again, back to what this site is missing is you've got no, hi, thanks for choosing, thanks for that. I've got the copy here. Let me, I've got the copy. Let me just highlight it here.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like a welcome. Thank you for coming to me.
Oh.
Sorry.
I was going to say, while you're highlighting that, I also would love to see a picture of you. If I'm getting photography, I know you do wedding photography and things like that. I want to get to know the photographer a little bit before I schedule, because photography is a personal thing that people are hiring.
There you go. Exactly. So you can probably all read that by now. So a little welcome message on the Contact Us page. The person decided to go to your Contact Us page. So just give them a few words saying, thanks very much, because you've come here. I realize you're probably going to reach out to me now. So this is just a nice little friendly message, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. That's the sort of thing I would do. I think this is just bang. Okay, fill in your details. It's blunt and to the point is this contact page. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Also in my recommended content that you should add is the near me. I think I spoke about that. I've spoken about adding some near me copy to a web page for those near me local search results. And here's another example. I'll bring back onto the screen. So what I'm saying is, Greg, we perhaps shuffle this homepage around. We remove the pricing. Obviously, that's to be discussed. And we have a nice section in there, which includes some copy about what you do, your services. And on I probably have this on your homepage, but certainly on your other services pages, where we've said, you know, these services here, you can have a version that relates to these. You can have this sort of near me copy where you can say, so that would be a header 2 styled, you know, you put out the question on your page. You can see there, and you can say, yes, we do. We're located in McDowell, but happy to travel, blah, blah, blah. And that's as simple as that, just to get that near me copy, that near me terminology on your page. Yeah, and then we can just tweak that so it's for weddings, it's for your drone work, etc. We just changed what it says there. Okay, so that's getting some near me copy onto your page very easily. I also thought, on your pages, a lot of sites you'll see they have an FAQ page, a separate FAQ page.
A what? What is that?
An FAQ, frequently asked questions page.
Oh.
So they might have an FAQ tab up here in the navigation. Where I'm saying is because FAQs can be great content, have those FAQs on the page itself. So perhaps, and I've done a little list for you here, and I'll email you this later, Greg. But here, I actually borrowed this from another photographer's website, nowhere near us, Greg. So you don't need to. There you go. I'm coming out being honest. So they had a wonderful selection of different FAQ questions. So just look at some of the questions. Now the answers to these questions probably is some that you get asked a lot of the time, but the answer to these questions make for great content on your website. Yeah, your answers to these, yes, we do. And these are the sort of questions that people are searching for when they're looking for your sort of services. Now, this is photographer specific, but we can also make it video specific or drone specific, or yeah, for the other services. So you'll just change the question, change the answer, and you've got questions here that will help you create this content, because that's one stumbling block it is for a lot of people is, what the hell do I write about? Andy's telling me to write all this copy. So here are some suggestions. So you actually add the question, you actually add this to your web page with your related answer. Does that make sense?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it just goes on. It's just great. You know, video walkthrough, what do you do? So all this can be on your site, which helps build the copy which is missing from your website.
Andy, I think a lot of what you have in your notepad is such good information. Is that something that we can you can send me and we can post in the meetup on there?
Definitely.
All of this, because even though this is photography specific, that way people will get an idea of what you're really what we're going for.
Exactly. And again, I think we go back to we're answering the what, where, when, whys, how sort of questions that your typical client might have, which will apply, like you just said, to so many other businesses. And if you use my Data Studio report that I did a few months ago for you all, you can actually see what questions people might be asking to find your website. But check the videos below, or whatever they say in YouTube world. Let me go back to your homepage, because there's a couple of other things. contact us page. I would just a question for Greg. So if you could come back on audio. Is this the company that designed your site, Greg? Or
Yeah.
okay, that's fine. I was going to say maybe ditch it, but that's it. The good news is it opens in a new tab. It doesn't move away from your website, so that's fine. So that just opens that like that. I won't give them any. So that's fine. But one thing that is missing from here. Now we've switched the site over to Atlanta Real Estate Photography. We're missing out on your brand name, Greg C. Real Estate Photography. So I probably add this to into the footer here.
Okay.
So that your page is all branded, that we know. Well, I know we've got a little logo. I would perhaps make that little logo bigger as well, so you can read it. But we've taken what we've done is we've taken the branding, we've taken the Greg C branding off it and put on the real estate. I know the Atlanta real estate is for you very important, but we've taken some of your personal branding off the website. So it would be nice to introduce that back a little bit more. Anything else? Yeah, embed your YouTube videos, done that, contact us, footer. Okay, not a strong subject of mine because I absolutely, I'll be pleasant, I dislike this part of search engine optimization. We've got to build links to your website. Google knows about your website, and it'll look elsewhere in the web world online and say, okay, who else is linking to this site? Can I trust this site and what it do and who they are and what they do? So it looks for other sites, all websites that link to gregcphoto.com. Now, at the moment, you don't have many what they call citations. You're not listed on many other business platforms. Okay, so we need to work on that. One way we can do it, you can pay for this. I think I might have mentioned this either to Greg, online or offline. There's services like Whitespark and Bright Local that will go out there and add your business and build website citations. They're website citation firms, and they'll add you to reliable and good directories, etc. Okay, there's a monthly service as a fee, and once they've built the links, they'll stay there. They won't disappear over time, etc. But you need to build more trust, and having links to your website will help build the authority of your website itself.
Yeah. How can I add up to that citations?
100%.
Citations, and Bright Local, I love them, use them as well. But one of the things for citations is they have over time they have decreased in importance for local SEO, but that doesn't mean you don't need them. It simply means I wouldn't pay a monthly cost. I would go to like Bright Local or Whitespark or something. I work with clients and do them as well. And do it one time where you're using a service where you own the citation and you don't sign up for a monthly citation service, because that could cost you money. And I don't think that it's worth it. You will need to put your money into other things. So definitely build the citations, but don't pay monthly to, a lot of them say they lock it in. You're a small business. Your information isn't really going to change that much. So, so don't pay that monthly fee for that. Another thing along with citations is for local SEO specifically, you want to get into a lot of different local, if you're a member of any local business organizations, check out your membership page, make sure your link is on there. Anything local that you're involved in, check with them and see if there are any local really small little magazines, online magazines that people use. See if you can write an article for them and they could put information about you in there. A lot of local smaller things like that, which you may know, just reach out to them. A lot of times they're looking for content and you could get your name and information there. Thank you.
I think link building is we're going to get someone on and talk about local link building because it's the hardest thing for small businesses class example for Greg to do.
Yeah.
It's really, really difficult. And that's why there's obviously services out there to help you
Mhm.
with that side of things. So one classic that everybody recommends, a lot of local SEOs recommend, is just, even if it costs, I don't know now, I was trying to get to pricing. This is, I believe, Greg, Henry County is the county that you're in at the moment.
Yes, correct.
Now, they have the Chamber of Commerce is a classic website just to have a link from, because they will have a stronger authority than you. So if you're listed in there as an Atlanta real estate photographer, there's a good chance that this site, if you're on their site, there's a chance that their site will rank in those search results when somebody's looking for that service. So they would come through to the chamber site, they would see your listing, and then from that listing, they would come through to you. And that's called Barnacle SEO, where you're sticking to somebody else. You're Barnacle, you're attaching yourself to another website that can drive you traffic indirectly. Because they've got a higher authority, they rank for the search term you're after.
I think you can also join the Atlanta Chamber of Commerce if that's something you're interested in. I don't know what the fee is on that. But you're not just, I believe you're not simply stuck with your specific counties if you're wanting to expand more to Atlanta. And Andy, we're almost at 12:30.
Yeah, so basically join this, it's the link that you're after. So let me just quickly, let's go to media. Let's go to a business listing here. Don't know why it opens in a new tab, but that's another side question altogether. This is their business profile. This is what you're after. And it's what you're after, this link from the chamber website, because the chamber website will be trusted by Google. Google will see this. It knows about this page you're listing. It goes, so this Greg is a member of this Chamber of Commerce, which I hold in respect. And there's a link from them to Greg's website. So this one's a nice tick in the box. You can do your local county, you can do the city, like Patricia was said, but obviously all this takes time and money. I don't know how much these things are. Is it 100? If it's about $100 a year, it is worth it. It's a tick in the box. Yeah, that's an easy $100 to get a link from something like this that could drive you traffic.
I don't know how much the Chamber of Commerce, but definitely go to the Better Business Bureau. They have a specific, the bbb.org. They have one where you don't have to pay. So there is a paid one, and a lot of times I don't think the paid version is really worth it. However, I would absolutely definitely go to BBB. You can get a free one. I've set it up for lots of clients. You just, as long as you've got your information with the Secretary of State, you just apply for it and it's free. Now they will then call you and ask you to do the paid version. A lot of businesses, it's not necessarily worth that paid version.
And BBB was exactly, that's almost coming to my end. I did have BB, they were the next one after the chamber. It's it's trust. That's what Google's looking for to rank your page higher. You're getting those links from trusted external sources.
And as someone who recently has been researching contractors and things, I can tell you when I searched online, I looked for these reliable places to confirm that they were actually a business and doing things. So that's why not only Google is going to trust you, and then other people searching, they're going to trust your business as well.
And on that note, I've run out of time again. I hope I've helped in some way. Greg and I will be chatting offline, and I think this is a project we're going to take forward together. And we can follow up maybe in a few months' time to see how Greg's been getting on.
Yes. I think, do we have any questions? I know we're kind of right at 12:30, but hopefully I went ahead and added a link to our YouTube channel. I'll get this video up by the end of the week. Facebook group, check us out there. And then of course our meetup. I will be working and responding to some questions in there as well. And Andy, I'm going to have him send his notes to me so I can post those in our meetup. I'll get those posted as well. So let's see, any questions? Gavin, yes, we've helped. Good, Gavin. I'm glad to hear that. And Marlon as well from the UK. Thank you all so much for joining. And I do want to announce again, our meetups are the second Wednesday of the month at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. Next month, we have a special guest. Bree Anderson is going to be our presenter. It is Wednesday, July 13th. She is going to be talking about getting the most out of GA4 as a business owner in 2022. I've heard a lot of questions about Google Analytics in GA4. So this is one is going to be a really good one as well. So make sure that you sign up for it.
She's a wonderful presenter. You'll really enjoy Bree's. It's going to be a good one next month.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much, Andy. And Greg, thank you for letting us take a look at your website. And hopefully it wasn't pretty painless. Andy gave so much good information for you to help with your SEO for your website. And then also your Google business profile, which we did in April. And you can take a look at that video on YouTube and go back if anybody missed anything from there. And I'll have this one up at the end of the week. Thank you all so much, everyone. And we will see you on the July the 13th for our next meetup. Thanks, everybody.